Just got back from a 5-mile run, and that puts me at over 100 miles in the Nike Epic React Flyknit. One of the main things that I was concerned about when I initially unboxed this shoe and first put it on were my longevity concerns. I was concerned about the adhesive right here at the toe. I felt like this might fall off, and I was concerned about overall the way that the Flyknit would hold up, and third, I was concerned about the tread on the bottom of the shoe. So first, let's talk about the adhesive at the front. Everything seems to be fine. I've gotten this thing super wet. I've crunched this thing up running on trails, and I've got it dirty, dusty, whatever. It seems to be holding up just great, so no concerns there. The Flyknit overall, this thing is also holding up great. I don't know how they do it. It's like Kevlar or something like that. It's not Kevlar, but it's amazing at how this thing holds up. It is super thin, super lightweight, and yet it's holding its shape, it's holding up, it's doing really, really great. The only thing is, even though it's Flyknit, you would think that it'd be more breathable, but it doesn't feel like the most breathable shoe I've ever run in. And evidence of that fact is that it doesn't smell all that great. And so I took this shoe with me on like a convention that I had to go, like a work conference, and so I only brought one pair of shoes. I ran with these in the morning and then kind of wore them all day, and that kind of wear I think put a real strain on the ability of the shoe to dispel odors. And finally, the last thing that I'll talk about is the tread on the bottom. Now the tread on the bottom comes like pre-worn over here, kind of like jeans with holes already ripped in them. I don't really understand the reasoning behind that. I hope it's not purely an aesthetic thing. I hope it's functional in terms of the way that the foot hits. But ultimately, this area right here was already kind of pre-worn out of the box. And there was an area down here pre-worn out of the box, and here it was a little bit worn, not as much as these two spots. An area of wear that I am seeing some wear already at 100 miles is down here, which is not an area where I really thought that my foot really struck a lot, but it looks like it is. So even in this rubber, this two-tone stuff this is more of just like a traditional rubber, and this is the React foam. So this special React foam they've put it and made it so that there's nothing on the bottom of it to keep it lightweight, and I think the rationale is that most people aren't hitting the ground with this part of the foot anyway, and then they'll put the rubber in the most highest traction areas. So here I'm starting to get a lot of wear. I'm also starting to wear down the React foam right here. So this is where my foot is hitting, and I thought that this might be a case. I think the rubber doesn't come down far enough. I think it needs to come down like another inch, at least on my size 9s. And so I'm getting a lot of wear on the React foam, and it's starting to look a little sloppy, right? So it looks like kind of like if you ever like erased something with a pencil really fast and it got all like kind of crumbly. That's what it kind of feels like. It's not crumbling, it's fine, but it just kind of looks a little bit weird. Other thing to keep in mind is this thing is discolored. So this used to be white React foam. I don't know if it's because I took this thing through the desert or what, but since going to the desert, I've also run with this in the rain and some wet conditions. So you would think that any of that kind of like desert sand would wash off, but I think it's in there. Even before I took it up in the hills, I think it was turning a little bit gray, and so it's not going to stay white. I know off-white's like really popular for whatever reason right now, so maybe that's a plus. The other thing that was happening the first time I wore the shoe is I felt like something weird happening right here on the right-hand side, and my foot was getting hot, and I thought maybe it was like this cloth insole, because some people had mentioned problems with that. That went away. I didn't really feel that after that first run. But what I do notice is that in the left shoe, this is the right shoe, but in my left shoe on longer runs, right where my foot normally hits, so like right around here, but on the other foot, if I went for a longer run, say anything longer than like 7 or 8 miles, then this spot on my left foot would start to feel kind of like painful or dead. And so, not dead in my foot, but it feels like the foam just wasn't able to continue giving its both responsiveness and energy return, or whatever those terms are, it felt like the compound of the React foam itself was losing its resilience capabilities on longer runs. So I don't know if maybe that's just me, maybe that's mental, maybe it's my foot, maybe something's going on there, but something I noticed in this shoe. And so I don't know that I would really recommend this for a marathon or very, very long runs. For a half marathon in a race, I might still wear these, but my feet would be feeling it afterwards. So those are my thoughts for after 100 miles in the Epic React Flyknit. This is, by all accounts, a phenomenal shoe. I really like it. It does a lot of things extremely well, with the only exception being I'm not sure that I would take it for super long runs. But it's holding up better than I thought. It's wearing a little faster than I would expect a $150 shoe to wear down. But, you know, I also thought that this is a little bit more of a performance shoe rather than a long distance logging in all the miles shoe. So it's kind of doing, you know, what I thought it would be doing. So that's it. Those are my thoughts at 100 miles in the Nike Epic React Flyknit.